Hi, I'm Anthony Amorello, host of the Paving New Roads podcast, and I'm coming to you from the penthouse at the Andes on the Sunset Strip in West Hollywood, California. And today, I'm sitting down with Rick Ingraham. He opens for Chris Rock worldwide. He's been a paid regular at the Comedy Store for over 20 years. He has some incredible stories. Thanks for tuning in.
I did not know I was funny.
I just wanted to be funny.
I like with Psycho.
Twice as good as Spielberg.
I don't know what your podcast is called, but it would be like Paving New Roads.
When did you start comedy?
I started in 2000. I was going to college in Kansas City, and a buddy of mine came over and said he did an open mic, and that he got third place. And it never occurred to me that he was
What would third
funny.
place win? A meatball sub?
I later found out that it was like a popularity vote, and so
Was he hot?
he brought a bunch of people, and
Yeah, sure.
but yeah, I was convinced at that point, like, well, if this guy's getting third place, I can probably just show up and win.
Yeah.
And I didn't bring anybody still, even my first time, because I was like, I don't want people to know.
And you won.
And I didn't. No, I got.
Did you place?
I think I got like fifth.
Oh, you got a ribbon.
Yeah,
that's
they
not
gave
good.
me like well, people voted for you, but you need to bring friends.
Um,
all right.
And then, but did you like it and you stuck with it, or what was the deal?
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, I did impressions and terrible shit at that point. I wasn't like
Who
doing,
were you impersonating?
I was doing, I think, most of Will Ferrell's catalog at the time.
Okay, just straight up.
I did like a terrible George W. Bush. I mean, it wasn't even close to Will Ferrell's in that aspect, but it was the same, like the popular people
Okay.
at the time. I did Ozzy Osbourne.
Who told you that was a good idea to do impressions?
Nobody. I was just
Oh,
that's
that
what
was
I wanted
your
to
idea.
do. Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna be on Saturday Night Live, and it's all gonna.
Was your family funny?
Yeah, they're all pretty fucked up. So.
Who's the funniest? Are you the funniest?
I mean, probably at this point, I'm the only one who's dedicated to it. But
yeah. But
like my
if you're-
brother was
If you were
the
sitting
funny
around
one.
the table having dinner,
If
who's getting the when you were a kid? Who's getting the best joke?
my brother,
Okay.
if we're a sitcom, my brother gets the most laughs every episode.
Older or younger?
He's a year and a half older,
Okay.
and just kind of like he's kind of like a mix of Wayne from the Wonder Years and I don't even know, like a cartoon older brother. He like loved pro wrestling and shit, so I was just
kinda
like
the older
physically
brother of the
abused.
Goldbergs. Yeah,
Yeah, that could be.
but Kansas style.
Yeah, full Kansas style.
When
so.
did you leave Kansas?
When I turned 21, my goal was kind of to move to LA or New York once I could get into the club. So
And you came straight here?
yeah, I came out here. When I was still in school, I went. I wanted to check out the cities and see what I liked, and I came to LA in like December, and it was like 75,
Yeah.
and I was like, I'm not even going to New York.
Yeah, why would
This is where I'm gonna move. So
Yeah.
I moved out like the following September or something like that.
Yeah, I had a pretty quick. I came here one time and then drove back home, and I was here like 6 months later.
Yeah,
What were you doing for work when you came out here?
I worked in restaurants.
And did you know it was stand-up you were trying to do, or
Yeah.
or were you acting too? Did you have aspirations?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I had, at that point, pretty recently dropped out of my second film school, so I felt like that gave me a lot of clout. People always said Spielberg dropped out of film school, and I'm like, well, I'm fucking twice as good as Spielberg now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but, then there's like a process to doing all of that stuff, and if you want to be a director, you have to, like, develop relationships with humans, and that's something I'm not interested in. So
Yeah.
I just don't want to have to do any of that part.
It is kind of crazy because I know that to be true, but I also know all your stand-up is talking to strangers, and you have
Yeah.
a podcast of Rick Ingraham Talks to Strangers.
Yeah.
You hate everybody, but you also have a need to talk to them.
Well, I don't mind talking at strangers.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
it is.
But you're doing a lot of crowd work. There's a lot of call and response where you're just, and I guess, yeah, you're always telling them why they're idiots for the most part.
That's actually the whole key to my philosophy
Oh,
for
shit,
crowd
did I
work.
let the cat out,
Yeah.
out of the bag?
People always say, well, what? I don't understand why you do it like that. And I just said, because no matter what, everyone is awful. So
Sure.
if you talk to some loser who's unemployed, I mean, classic biggest loser of all time. But if you're talking to some fucking doctor, that guy is guaranteed the biggest piece of shit in the world.
Yeah.
Like, nobody knows, like, a doctor who's, like, the great guy. It's always like, I mean, he's great at what he does.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, so he's a fucking psychopath, but he saves lives.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a dark take on a lot of good people that work in the medical field, but all right.
I mean,
When did you decide this is like you're not doing impersonations anymore, and I'm just gonna fucking dunk on these people?
I mean, it took me like a year of being at the Comedy Store.
And how long did that take between you moving here? You moved here at 21.
I moved here 21. I got a doorman job maybe like 3 months later.
Wow,
that
was quick.
I started doing the open mic, and I mean, it was competitive to get a spot. I don't even know how they do it now, but then they did. You had to show up at like 1 o'clock on Sunday and sign up on a list, and there was 40 spots, and then people would sign like 60 people on.
Yeah, sure.
And then you had to come back at 6 o'clock and pick a number out of a bucket based on where you were on the lineup. So you picked something out. It was either 1 through 20 or blank. And if it was blank, you didn't get a spot. And if it was 1 through 20, you got a spot the following week.
Sure. Okay.
And so then you had to come back the following week.
Wow, that's a really convoluted way.
Yeah, and it was like for the 20 spots, it was probably 14 like middle-aged homeless people.
Yeah, the bus stop people.
Yeah.
Those are my people.
There's a guy, Chris P. Chicken, who looked like Tom Selleck, and his opening line, I honestly didn't realize how depraved and homeless he was, because his opening line was, "People say I look like a homeless Tom Selleck." And I was like, oh, that's so great. He looks like a... And then people were like, no, he's really basically a homeless Tom Selleck. Yeah. And he lived at the gas station next to the Laugh Factory.
And they didn't let him into their open mic.
No,
so
he was royalty.
Yeah.
And then we had this guy, Gaylord Dingler, who had been doing open mic for 25 years, and he would just do the same bit.
Gaylord Dingler?
Gaylord Dingler. And then at one point, Gaylord just disappeared, and everyone was like, he's fucking dead. And then another open micer confessed to breaking a bottle on his head and leaving him for dead in an alley. And then everyone was like, dude, this is getting good.
Dude, you do have the best Comedy Store history stories, because none of them are really, like, relevant to anything, but they're all the most interesting things I've ever heard. Yeah. How long were you a door guy before you got passed?
I was a door guy for about 7 months before I got passed.
Jesus, what a rise.
Yeah, I was and completely undeserved.
Who passed you?
Mitzi.
And what was the moment?
She came in to do showcases. She had already decided she was finally going to pass Ari Shaffir. And it was like his...
What year is this?
This is 2002. Yeah, end of 2002. And then she came to pass Ari. She had a showcase listed. And back then, Mitzi didn't show up that often. And when she did... She was really with it, like 60% of the time. And then like 40% of the time, it was just like a shell of a person sitting in a chair.
That's what happens, CTE.
Yeah.
You date Argus Hamilton. You might get that.
You lose oxygen on one too many chokeholds. And a lot of people don't realize Argus started MMA in those coked up nights.
Yeah.
But
on Mitzi in the kitchen behind the Comedy Store.
I mean, what's great is I've heard so many different versions of that story, and then I asked him, and he was like, well, somebody made that whole thing up. And so now, if anyone ever accuses me of anything...
That is your best impression, is Argus Hamilton, and if you didn't see it right there, you can see it at the end of Joe Rogan confronting Carlos Mencia. Right. You're in the back of that video double-fisting beers.
Yeah.
Doing Argus Hamilton. That's incredible.
What I enjoyed about that was that it was a long clip talking about what a thief Carlos Mencia is, and then just kind of showing like frat guy mentality, being like, Joe's awesome. And then at the very end, it's just me hammered And for some reason, Joe asks me what I think, and then I just actually steal Argus Hamilton jokes and do them as Argus Hamilton, and everyone just laughs like, well, that's fun, though.
yeah.
And it wasn't until later when I watched it sober, and I'm like, it's kind of weird. I'm actually stealing someone's bit on this video.
It is ironic.
But no one knows who Argus is.
How long were you at the store when that happened?
I don't even remember what year it was.
That was probably 07, 08 maybe.
Yeah,
if you look at the YouTube video, it's very poor, so
Yeah. I guess that would make sense. I was probably 5 years in at that point. Joe had really started to...
So the Comedy Store's basically fed you since you've been out here, like door guy job, and then...
Yeah.
And you were of the door guy generation where you could still like make money and stuff, tips-wise.
I was, but I was part of the generation that we didn't have patrons.
Oh,
so,
yeah, the dark ages.
Yeah,
as they call
there
it.
were dark years. There were like shows specifically where you could make a fortune.
Sure.
It would be like even like the Smothers Brothers did like 7 shows, and I was like, who the fuck is the Smothers Brothers? And then like the old Comedy Store people who just hung around and have no purpose were like, you don't know the Smothers Brothers, you need to learn your history. And then you watch like 5 videos and you're like, I guess that was funny 70 years ago.
That will happen forever there, though.
Yeah.
It's just recycling that happens,
Yeah.
because those people will eventually be remembered by comics, that are also shitty.
Right.
That are slightly younger than them.
Yeah.
And then they're going to say that, you know what I mean? That place is it's on a loop.
Have you seen good drunk people getting to the point that the cops show up at the Comedy Store? Like, we kicked a guy out a long time ago, and we had a parking lot guy named Doc Willis.
Oh, I know Doc.
You know Doc?
Yeah.
So Doc was working, and he was just trying to be professional and come over and, like, calm the guy down and be like, man, you just gotta leave, man. It's not your night. And the guy goes, what are you going to do about it, Urkel? And then Doc just punched him in the face. And we're all just like, oh.
Yeah.
And then the dude's like, call the police. And so then
that's how they get you.
Dude called the police, and then the police showed up, and then they talked to the guy, and he was like, that guy punched me.
Yeah.
And then they pulled Doc's side, and Doc was like, I told him to leave, and then he called me Urkel, and that shit's racist, so I punched him in the face. And the guy was like, all right, cool. And then he just walked over and arrested the guy and took him. And
LAPD gets it, dude. They get a lot of shit, but they're on our side.
Yeah, right.
And now that I'm not like an official like employee there anymore.
Is that true?
Yeah. We're going out on our own. We're doing it.
Damn, okay.
But I feel like that is the exact reason why Richie also started getting investigated there.
Yeah.
Because the guy, they were kicking him out. He hit a female security guard, that girl Ilea.
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah, and then by the time I heard about it, I came out and there were 5 employees surrounding this guy. But Richie Taylor took the guy's phone and shoved it in his mouth. He took the guy's own phone and shoved it in his mouth. The difference between these things is there are cameras now.
Yeah.
And that's always been a thing. But people sue the Comedy Store very regularly.
Yeah, I would assume.
What do you think some of your favorite crash outs at the Comedy Store have been? People really blowing up.
Like
over time. You've been here a long time.
Comedians or people just freaking out?
All things go.
There was a night that Rogan was here, and some dude who described himself as the biggest Rogan fan ever came just to hang out by himself and hopefully meet his idol. And me, Ari Shaffir, a couple other people were hanging out. Store closed at 2. Don did his thing. And then a bunch of us were just in the parking lot smoking pot. And we noticed that the dude was just kind of lingering around. And I think Ari said something like, are you going to hang out, or are you just going to be creepy? And the guy was like, I just wanted to say great show, and I didn't want to bother you guys, but, I'm just hanging out. And
this poor guy.
So then someone was like, I think Joe even asked him, like, do you smoke, dude? You can come smoke with us. And the dude was like, yeah. And he came over, and Joe gave him the pipe, and he hit it a bunch of times, and we all hung out. And then maybe 10 minutes go by, and the dude hasn't said anything, and he's just standing there. And Joe's like, "What's your story, man? Where are you from?" The guy was like, "I think we should call the cops." Joe literally looks around. He's like, "I'm gonna get the fuck out of here." Joe gets in his car and drives, and everyone's just kind of standing there like laughing. And then the dude, I mean, we tried to talk him down for maybe 10 minutes. We're just like, "Dude, you're fine. You're just stoned." And he was, "I thought you said you get high." And he was like, "Well, I got stoned a couple times in college." And we're all like, well, yeah, you shouldn't be smoking
that guy.
Joe Rogan weed.
Yeah. I think we should call the cops.
That was the first thing he said. And everyone's just like, "Oh, fuck this." So we tried really hard, and then after 10 minutes, he was like, "I need to call them. They need to come because I think my heart stopped." And everyone was like, "All right, we're leaving."
Yeah, yeah.
And then so we all
and
left.
You left him. He was at the back door.
He's probably still there somewhere,
yeah.
wandering around the building.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ghosts there, they say. So how long have you been there total?
I've been at the Comedy Store for like 22 years, with a few years off here and there.
And when do you think it actually you were getting traction, where you could go out and tour and you were hanging with the best comics there?
I mean, the only real touring I've ever done has been with Chris and Dave.
How did that even come about? How did Chris Rock, for the listeners, find you?
He saw me do a set in the main room one night, and
One time.
one
Take Drake.
Yeah, he came up to me after my set, and I thought he was angry at first because he just pointed at me, and I was like, "Well, that's not going to be good."
Yeah.
But he came over, and first thing he told me was that he really hates crowd work more than any form of comedy, and then told me he thought that I might be the best that he's ever seen do it, though, and that made him feel weird. And I was like, "Well, thanks."
He said those exact words that made him feel weird.
Yeah. He was like, I can't believe I enjoyed it. It's such a cheap way of doing comedy, but.
And what was your response to that?
I was just like, "Thanks." Yeah.
All right.
There's very few people, I think, whose opinion I respect comedically, so it's like, oh, that's.
Sure.
I mean, if he came over and was like, "Man, your comedy sucks, crowd work sucks, and you're the worst at it," I'd be like, "No, man, that's not good."
Do you think you'd be petty enough to take the time to walk over to you to be like, "Hey,
I
hate you and everything you stand for"?
I'd like to think so, but knowing him now, I know that he wouldn't waste his time.
Yeah, he really is. He doesn't do that.
He doesn't really hang. His conversation, with people's, limited to if
What
he
was
feels
it?
like he needs to.
First of all, what was the shock like when you realized you were going to be on a world tour with him, knowing that you started in Kansas doing impressions of George W. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When did that sink in? What was that like?
He called me a couple weeks later and asked me if I wanted to do some shows. It was originally 4 weeks to start the tour, and I said yes. And when he called me, I was taking care of my kid because I'm a stay-at-home dad during the day. So I told my kid basically, "Hey, I'm gonna go take a phone call." And my wife works from home, so she's just like,
you gave your kid the one?
I'm just like, "Dude,
crazy.
You're two, man. Take care of yourself." And then he kind of gave me shit about that. He was like, "Wait, you have family? I can't believe you have a family. You don't seem like a person who's a normal human being."
You did earlier say that you hate everyone. So it is surprising you found someone to love, and they say and continue to love, and a child.
Yeah, two
Although
hate
you
children.
went on a pretty good rant to me the other day about your kid's school, and that was
It's
was
always
funny.
the worst.
You do hate everything about having.
It's just tough. It's
outside of the kid. It seems like everything that comes with a kid you hate.
Yeah, you got to deal with a bunch of morons, and it's just there's always problems. You meet a few cool parents here and there, and then you're like, all right. So it's like everything else. It's a very small percentage of every demographic is.
So you step away from your kid. You take that phone call.
Take the phone call, and he basically was just like, "Well, I watched you. I came back and watched you a couple times, and I kind of wanted to see what would happen when you bombed, and you didn't bomb, so let's give it a shot." And I was just like, "All right," and I said yes before even talking to my family about it.
Yeah.
But my wife was supportive, and it was basically a month to start, so I don't think it was is I don't know that it would have been as easy to get a commitment from her on that had it been like we're talking just the next 11 and a half months. That's it.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
Yeah, it was good. Shows went really well, and
We've talked about this before this conversation, but you once told me you got mistaken for like the road manager.
yeah, a lot.
Because
Yeah,
describe that dynamic of like what going to shows with Chris Rock is like, who you're with.
so our crew, like the people that we travel with, the production people, the road manager, everyone is black. So it's like it's a crew of like 8 black people and me, and then sometimes Chris's assistant, and he's Puerto Rican. But
So not you.
yeah, and so we would be places, especially when we were foreign places, and no matter what, when they came over to tell us whatever we needed to do, they would always just look directly at me and then explain things. If we were on a private jet, I'm the least important person on this plane, but they still always come over and address me directly. And then everyone will just be like, and then the actual tour manager would be like, "You're free to talk to me if you want. That's just the opening comment." And then everyone would be like, "Oh, I didn't know. I thought you were." And then it was like, yeah, we know.
Did you notice anything like, what are Chris Rock fans like? What are those stand-up shows like? Because that's much different than what you're getting. You're going to do a show at the Comedy Store in literally 10 minutes after this. It's a different crowd. What's that crowd like?
His crowd is a lot of guys and a lot of dates that end up not going well. Like you see that almost every show. Like he told me.
Why don't they go well?
Because he talks a lot about how scandalous women are and how you can't trust women and so like he'll do these bits. He'll be like, or he'll talk about things. Every guy does this. Every guy's doing this. And then if the guy laughs, then he sees a girl being like, "Why is that funny?" And so he said something like, "There's always a breakup during a show at some point during the tour, but." There's a couple times we could witness clearly people starting to fight. He'd be like, "Everything okay? They're just jokes."
And how were they perceiving you?
I think the look on everyone's face when I walked out for every show was just like, "What the fuck is this?" And then I tried to call him a cunt within 30 seconds just to really set the stage for people to know, like, wait a minute, I'm not sure. But, I'm in a suit, and so I come out, and then I'm immediately just tearing people apart.
And do you find his crowds are different than a club crowd to tear apart, or are you just going after relationships? And
it's just bigger, so it's like...
Yeah, what's doing those, like, huge theaters like?
It's fun. Like, the bigger the places are, like when I did arena shows with him and Chappelle, and it's weird because you're doing like almost 30,000 or 20,000 people at some of these places, but you're basically just doing 4 theaters because you're doing in the round. And so you just keep turning, and every time you turn, there's just a new theater of people. And most of the people are watching you on the Jumbotron above you.
All right, so we're running out of time. What do you think your favorite moments have been over 22 years of comedy?
Man, I think, it's for me, I'm not happy unless I'm not happy. So it's seeing...
You're sick, dude.
I'm seeing people that I never respected doing really well and then having it all fall apart. That's really, for me, that's what gets me going in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have anything specifically that makes you to speak to that sentiment?
No, not really. I don't know. I mean, to me, all of it's fun because it's all so ridiculous. So my favorite thing about comedy in the Comedy Store is that there's endless fucking rivalries and people talking shit.
Every day.
And it's like everyone thinks that there's drama at their work, and they're like, "Oh, my office is so funny," but no one understands what it's like when you're in a place where everyone is the funny person from those people's work.
Yeah.
So it's like, to this day, like finding out someone got passed and now everyone's mad and everyone talks shit all the time. It's like, that's the best to me. I'm so glad that everyone hates get passed.
Dude, you're just like a hot girl in high school. That's like
People always say that to me.
Yeah. Well, you got the hair for it. Better now than when you were in high school.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming out.
Oh,
man.
thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Fucking Worcester for life.
Yes, dude. Hot toddies.